Hello and welcome back to Sports for Dummies. In today's episode, we are doing a review of the round 5 for the AFL season. The round of upsets, Johnny. What happened?
Screwed up my tips, screwed up my bets. I was all confident after a big week of tipping 9.
You said you were going to get 9 again. You said, Josh, learn from me. I'm going to get 9. How many did you get?
5?
Yeah, 7 over here.
7 over here. Yeah, so
Flip the script.
when there's a week of upsets, bad tippers do well. Because they're always wrong.
Let's get into the games. So the quicker we can get to Carlton, the better.
Oh, no.
All right, so to start us off, the Demons and the Lions, an absolute upset there. Demons 8-12-60 to the Lions, 12 goals, 10 behinds, 82. Fritsch with 2, Van Rooyen, Neil Bullen with 1, Viney 23, Gawn 23, Petrarca 20 over at the Lions. You had Dunkley 30, Zorko 29. Rayner 25. Rayner doing what you actually kind of talked about, Johnny, in the one before, saying he kind of needs to be like a bit of a Heaney style of player. Well, kind of did that.
Last year, we're at the end of the year, there are players that can play on ball and forward. And there was 2 players that sort of was noted, in talking to people who can be in the midfield, who's a forward that really needs to get in the midfield and do some damage. And Heaney was one, and he got his opportunities, obviously, with the injuries to Parker, Mills and whatnot. Reynolds the other one. He's a number 1 draft pick. When's he going to... Because he's got phenomenal burst, and he was sensational in that first half. But Melbourne were absolutely out-coached. There was a few things that happened there. Brisbane played the same game plan that Hawthorn did to Melbourne, just a lot better, and what Hawthorn did, but they just don't have the players to do it, was keep the ball off them. Yeah. But they didn't damage Melbourne by keeping it off. While Melbourne had the players to do this. Charlie Cameron, who's been playing in the goal square, sort of isolated. He's moved up the ground, which means Lever and May weren't sitting, at the top of the square or in the middle of the 50. There was no cherry picking. It
was good to see Hipwood and Danaher hit the scoreboard early after their win against North. It gave them a lot of confidence leading into that. They really nullified, like you said. I think they had 47 marks in the first quarter alone. And they ended up, I think it was 131-80 in comparison for the whole game. No, for the whole game in terms of marks.
Ah, yes.
So you look at that and you're like, gee. And then not only that, Brisbane were out tackling Melbourne. And Melbourne are normally a lot more contested, normally get a lot more of the ball. Gawn was their leading possession getter.
Well, and that's the only stat that Melbourne really won was the hit-outs. They had 58-27.
Not the clearances, though.
Not definitely. Well, the centre clearances were even. It's uncontested possession, 235-188. So they almost had 50 more than the Demons. The Demons looked slow. Oliver looks really just way below himself.
And then the track as well. They really...
And to your point, to the tackles, 82-53.
That's a huge difference.
So they were first to the ball, but then they were also... They just came with heat. What it shows... A big loss for Melbourne, though, and Brisbane...
Huge loss. Brisbane
suffered this and sort of... It's coincided. They were 8 goals up against Carlton. Coleman goes down. We've said it so many times on the show. Half-back line is almost the new centre half forward in terms of importance in the ground. He went down very early, and he doesn't have the pace like Coleman does, but he's quick with his mind and he hits targets.
The general. Big loss. Big loss.
Big loss. But what does it show? How even is this comp? And we'll get into the Carlton Adelaide. That was an unbeaten side versus a side who hadn't won. And that game was pressure. That game was on. This is another one. Melbourne are flying. Brisbane, under pressure. They had only beaten North. But it just shows what that win against North did. They had no fear going to the MCG and playing Melbourne. It's a fantastic win. And they are right back. That's really brought them right back into the season.
Well, it gives them the last 2 games, 2 wins. They're going to be looking at it going, you know what, we've knocked off Melbourne, who were doing some pretty good things too.
They went to Adelaide for their business trip, won both.
Yep.
Ironically, you'd think the MCG against a struggling Brisbane.
It was like you said, Gawn played his role. Track and Oliver non-existent, but like you said, I think the forward line for Brisbane and Lever and May. Who's the backman for Andrews? Harris Andrews.
Yeah.
Was incredible.
He was absolutely fantastic, wasn't he?
Fantastic. The intercept marks that he took, the moments that he took them to. I thought they'd flipped the order.
Well, 7 goals between their forwards. And then for Melbourne, well, they had Van Roen kicked one.
Yeah, and the only person, Fritsch kicked 2.
And Fritsch kicked 2, so 3 between them. We were talking about how it looked like their forward line was working. It did not look like it was working at all. That comes from, the ball's not coming down as much.
No, and I think
the quality of the ball going in. Just Brisbane were
had a lot more of the ball.
Brisbane were too good. They've done it at the MCG. They're right back in the hunt this year.
100%. It's funny how you can write off a team and then bring them straight back in after, and it was a good performance. So it's a very level. I'm keen to see the premiership after this one, Johnny. To be honest.
All aboard the premiership.
Yeah,
we will be doing that tomorrow. Yes.
That brings us over to the Doggies and my Bombers. Upsets. The Doggies 67 to the Bombers 96. Ugle-Hagan in his 50th kick, 3 goals, 3 played very, very well.
He was very good.
You had West 2 and Norton 2. Bombers, Langford 3, Stringer 2 and Jones 2. Treloar had 28, McRae 25, Libba 25, Merritt 27, Nick Martin 25, and McGrath 23. It was a bit worrying towards the end of the game.
Much respect from the Bombers. I mean, they started really well. I mean, Ugle-Hagan was the shining light for the Dogs. His hands are so sticky. Good father-sons. Luke Darcy's son, Sam Darcy, had a lot of shots. Probably shouldn't have got him. Scott West's son was really good. Bombers were competitive. That second quarter, though, the Dogs sort of did what Port Adelaide, but they missed
went
their
into a different
opportunities.
gear.
They went into
They
another
turned it up.
gear. Much respect from Essendon because you hit them right back in the mouth, and this is what was missing against Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
Jake Stringer was sensational. It's definitely a contract year. I've never seen him chase.
Mate, his hit on Libba, one of the best I have seen.
Yeah.
It was an NFL just lined the guy up and just went, I'm taking him out. And it wasn't even a dangerous tackle. It's good to see. It's good to see. I felt, and I did say it. I mean, I tipped the Bombers. I always do. I believe in my team. I wasn't confident though because the Doggies had won the last 9 out of 10 by an average margin.
It was a bogey win, and you were destroyed in the media.
We were destroyed, and Port. Not only that, I mean, Port rinsed us.
Mm-hmm.
So, and after all the anticipation and the hype around us for the start of the year, and it was good though. Goldie, all our recruits, Dersma, Goldie,
you owe Goldie an apology because you said I hate it when he started. He kicks the first goal. And who's the Doggies ruckman? I completely forgot. Who's the Doggies ruckman?
Oh, what's his face? English.
What did he do?
Bugger all. He matched up really well against English. I'll give him credit.
Goldie was huge.
So well.
Big body. He was fantastic.
I'll give him credit there. I think against
hit out. He led hit outs. 22 hit outs, and he had 12 disposals. Kicked a goal, mate. Give Goldie an apology.
I'm not giving him an apology. Well done, Goldie. Good job. About time.
Give him an apology.
I'm not apologising.
What it does show, though, and I have been saying this for the years, Dogs are super, and I'm not taking anything away from Essendon, super overrated. Their forward line does not function. Ugle-Hagan was good. Their back line is undersized. They got rid of Caleb Daniel? Why is he not playing? He's their best ball user.
Bailey Dale, their all-Australian backman. He was the sub.
Their selection and recruiting is absolutely shocking.
Has been getting back. He was all right.
No, I don't agree with that. He looked like a VFL player. He looked slow.
But their whole none of their team
very slow.
I think the problem with the Doggies is their consistency right now, and I think Essendon. You know what? That Doggies would have had this mental edge over them the whole week, knowing, and Essendon would. Everyone knew it. The reason that loss really did hurt against Port was because we knew what we were coming up against the Doggies with our last 10 performances against them, losing 9. It was good to see us. And the last 5, we'd lost by an average of over, I think, 50 points.
Yeah.
It was just a good win. It was good to see the Bombers be consistent when the game was up for grabs in that second quarter where we got blown out by Port last week. We changed that gear. The coaching was better. and we just played a better brand of footy. It's
Yep.
good to see. It was good that we were both at Marvel, respectively, both our home grounds. It's good.
Yeah. No, big win for the Bombers. That was really good.
That brings us over to the Giants versus the Saints. What an absolute thriller that was.
Great
Giants.
comeback from the Saints.
Yeah, Giants 80 points to Saints 79. Hogan and Green 2. Thomas 1. Whitfield with 34. Ash 26. Green 24. Bobby Hill had 33. Still 29. Marshall 28. So very, very, very close
This
in the end. Surprising.
huge comeback from St Kilda after a couple of pretty average performances, lost to the Bombers, barely got over the hump against an injured Richmond. Two takeaways here, and we'll head to the next one. Again, how even's this comp?
Yep.
What does this do to GWS?
Well, they lost a lot of people too.
Taylor is arguably the best. He's in the conversation for the best defender in the league for on form this year. Knocked out.
He's all right though.
But he's out. He's out next week. Caniglio's done his knee. I think they've ruled out an ACL, but that's depending. He's out. Kelly's hurt his ribs. Briggs' shoulder. That's massive. That's an absolutely. This could shake up the whole season because they're big players. They're big players. Taylor, as I said, one of the best defenders in the comp. Caniglio has reinvented himself as this sort of tagging midfielder who gets his own football. We know Kelly, should be all right with ribs, but, it's never good. It's a weird injury to have. You can redo it easily. And Saints showed a bit of fight. And again, it's an open comp.
Look, I think GWS haven't had a hard run. The only one they had was the reigning premiers.
Was Collingwood in round one. Yeah.
That was it. After that, they've had a very smooth sailing.
But I guess every game's pretty hard now.
Oh, can I just tell you, they're versus North, West Coast, Suns, St Kilda, yes, you can put them in the contention. But three of those are arguably bottom four teams.
Suns are, I think, are they 3-2?
Suns are
3-2.
Yeah,
Suns are 3-2. But West Coast and North are easy wins. But this round has just showed.
Oh, it showed that there's no guarantees.
There's no guarantees. So you got to win.
Bad tippers for the win.
You got to win, and ironically, two of the sides, who we, the Giants are at the wheel, Carlton in the coach's cabin. That might change, but injuries is really starting to form the year.
It's not good, and that brings us to your boys, the Blues, the Crows, the Blues losing in an upset, 98 to 100. Kerno with 4, Mackay 2, Owies 1, Walsh 34, Akers 25, Williams 23. Walker kicked 4. He actually played pretty well. Like you said, you jinx your stat line saying when Walker kicks more than 3, they win. Walker, sorry to remind you of that. Rankin 3, Keys 3, Soligo 27, Crouch 27, and Hinge 26. Johnny, what went wrong for the Blues?
This is from the heart. Walker was what I was worried about. We're on, we're playing on Marvel, which is an easy ground, because there's no conditions. I think he set up their first 2 goals before he kicked the first goal. So I think, out of their 4 goals, he was involved in 3. No fault of Adelaide's ability to hit targets was absolutely phenomenal. They were keeping the ball off us. What was surprising, though, after quarter time, we led them in every stat and we're in front. Half time, we were in front, playing Adelaide's game. Walsh was absolutely fantastic in his first game back, I think 34. Kerno was off, and he's had a weird stat line because he kicked 4-3, but he butchered. He kicked 2 points that he shouldn't have. His field kicking was horrible. Mackay was sensational again in the ruck. After halftime, we dominated him. We kicked 3-7 in the third quarter, and what I was worried about, because the game, if you look at halftime, 8-2 to 7-2. So we had 10 scoring shots.
Do you know what
you
ended up on? 14-14 to 16-4.
So we dominated them, and we won the arm wrestle. So the game was even. It was goal for goal. From a pure football thing, we got out to 3 goals, probably with 6 minutes to go. Thought we were home. And then a fucking disgraceful. It was Kemp and Williams. The ball was kicked up high. Kemp needed to mark. Williams should never talk to players, and I actually have liked him coming back. Kept on throughout the game saying to players, slow down, slow down. No, move the ball quick. It's a quick game. I don't know what he said to Kemp. Kemp drops an easy mark. Fogarty, who's done fuck all year, gets the ball, hits a target. Adelaide kick a goal. They're in it.
Yeah,
they come back. The space that we gave, and what was interesting, our pressure was elite in our forward line. We're number one for tackles inside forward 50. Our pressure was awesome. Adelaide kick a goal. This Berry kid, fucking 9 touches as a sub, has all the time in the world. No one's on him. Kicks a goal. And so we were the better side. We're better when we're both at our best. It's Adelaide haven't won. We're in Melbourne. We lost. And we lost Sard, Hammy, McGovern, Hammy. Cripps was ordinary. Did a couple of things in that last quarter. Big tackle, kicks a goal. Big problem that I saw. All the sports talkers were talking about Carlton's centre clearance game has dropped. Now, we brought Pritton in because Chera was laid out. So now we've got 4 talls. Mackay and Curnow have finally figured out their absolute leading patterns.
Yep.
DK, who just came off one of the best performances of his career, going head-to-head with Jackson. I want to bring the centre... What's the centre clearance? So the clearance is 41 to 34. And centre clearance is 15-all. We've been getting beaten in there. Pitnet was really good. Like, he was the best out of the ruckmans. Had five clearances. DeConning, though, now goes forward. So now we've got 3 talls. We kicked the ball long. You saw Adelaide's entries. Rankin was free. Fogarty was 1-on-1. Walker was always 1 out. That duel with Wiedering was awesome. Walker beat him in the first quarter. Wiedering beat him in the second. All 1-on-ones, Wiedering won. But Walker was finding space well. Beautiful kick. DeConning had no identity playing up forward, and you'd have all 3 of them going for one pack. We need Curnow isolated. He was good, and he didn't even play a good game. Mackay 1-on-1 is too good. Put DeConning, if we're going to play him, put him down back because we're small. He's a great interceptor. Crash and bash there, but not in the forward line. And Paul Owies has got to start. The way that he's beaten and able to duck, weave, kicks a goal. He had a chance there with 1:30. He runs in.
All he had to do was kick it.
He did the hard part, and he stubs his toe, and from there Adelaide won. It was an unforgivable loss because we were the better. We're a better side at our best, and we were a better side on the day. That's a big loss. Credit to Adelaide because they made some fantastic coaching moves. Rankin and Rochelle were in the centre bouncers last year. They have been, I think, a combined 4 or 5. They were in the centre. Rochelle was absolutely huge. Rankin was fantastic. What was his stats? What did Rankin have? Rankin had 23 touches and kicked 3 goals. He did kick 3 on the full. That's a big loss for all the injuries we have because we have GWS and Geelong, Collingwood, Melbourne.
Yeah, so you guys needed that. I'll be honest, that was and you lost a lot.
The only good thing about playing GWS next week is they have outs. Both sides
playing.
At Etihad, but that doesn't worry GWS. We just lost to Adelaide.
I just mean if you went up there, that's the difference.
Very hard. Well, ironically, we beat them at home last year and they flogged us down here.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. Okay, but both sides are going to go in very beaten up.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that works. But
on a form guide, you guys actually have their edge based on who you versed.
Yeah.
You would think, but that loss to Adelaide did play their free-flowing. You know what was the thing that we were talking about, how bad their back line is? But the way they moved the ball, like you said, from the middle down to their forward line, and their ability, they came in clutch. You know what? I honestly thought Carlton had it. I'll tell you why, because I knew how good they were winning close games. I thought you guys would come in clutch.
And we won the arm wrestle. We got out to 3 goals. And when you win a game like that against a lower side general, because 3 goals was the biggest lead of the game, you think, okay,
that's done.
We're good. And that fucking mistake by Kemp or Williams, whoever,
They just
kept
pushed
him
into
it.
each other.
I'll tell you who was good for Adelaide was Keane in the back line, and that Worrell took a few intercept marks who was really good.
Keane is good.
Keane is good. He's
did
been
really
their
well.
best player, and Worrell in from an intercept point was really good. Kerno and Mackay played well. We were the better side. We lost, but good on Adelaide because they were hitting targets.
They've got their first win for the season, and it
Back
was
on
a
the
hard
life,
one.
but they've climbed on
The
the
lifeboats.
lifeboat.
Potentially.
Potentially.
All right, that brings us to Gold Coast Suns and the Hawks up at Metro. Is it Metricon?
Yeah.
Next, apparently they've changed that
Well, it
name
says
multiple times. I don't know what it's called. Anyway.
People First Stadium.
Yeah, it's called the People First Stadium now. It's not Metricon. We've been calling it Metricon. Anyway.
Go fuck yourself. What the
Holy
fuck?
shit. All right. Suns 109 to the Hawks 56. Pretty good example here of that the Suns are nowhere near a bottom four side. King with 4, Swallow with 3, Walter with 2. You had McGuinness 3, and then you had Moore and McDonald with 1 for Hawthorn. The Suns' disposals, Anderson 36, Flanders 34, Miller 28. For the Hawks, 26 for Amon, Sicily 19, and D'Ambrosio 18. So, I mean, I didn't get to watch this one, Johnny. Did you? What was your take?
Well, Ben King was too good, kicking 4. David Swallow, who's been there since their
Forever and a day.
inception, kicks 3. But look at the disposal difference, Josh. Like, just this is where I'm just going to look at team stats. 366 disposals to 270 in today's game.
Holy shit,
Is
that's a lot of...
inside 50, 65 to 45. They went at 6% more ball use. Hit outs 39 to 30, clearances 15 to 10, stoppages 23 to 18. It's the uncontested though, 231 to 138. Marks 110 to 64.
So they just dominated.
They really just...
They were in front the
absolutely
whole way. It was just domination.
61 to 44 in tackles. Tackles inside 50s, 11 to 3. Gold Coast did what they had to do to win, which was, I haven't learnt anything from the Suns, but fuck, the Hawks suck. That's a bad loss. They lost by 53 points, and it just shows... I don't buy anything from Gold Coast win on here.
Gold Coast having a good run.
They always get a good start. Problems for Hawthorn though, because we were giving them at least when you talk
Out of the
about
bottom
runs,
four?
they played Geelong, Melbourne, Collingwood. We were giving them some grace.
Could you account for the fact that maybe they're a little bit tired too?
We're in round 5.
Yeah, but
What are they tired from?
you just come from bloody getting absolutely...
Well, this is
smacked.
everyone else's
Like they were so
excuse.
close to Collingwood. They lost by a kick.
My point is that we give them an honourable thing.
no,
It's
true.
like
You know
North. You give them a... How long do honourable losses stay? Like, how long can you use it? Because then
No,
you
you're
even
right.
get
It's
destroyed
very
by
evenly.
53.
Nah, you know what? There is a bottom 8 for a clear reason. Hawthorn, that is why you're going to stay there for a while. Suns, look, I think they personally, I know you keep going, I don't rate them. I think they're going to be flirting with the top 8 this year. I really do. I don't think they're going to, break at the bank and get up towards the prelim, like any of the prelims, but they'll make it. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to flirt with getting into the finals.
Maybe it's an even comp, so potentially. I doubt it.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It's a long year, and they start like this every single year.
All right. Then we had the Power and the Dockers. An absolute very close game here. Power getting up 66 to 63. Yeah, Darcy with 3, West with 2. That is the wrong information.
Hey,
I was like looking at that for a second, going, "Dude, this is that's like."
Have you got Freo right though?
Yeah, I've got Freo right.
Okay,
do you
so
want to read out
I've got the leading
Power?
3. So Georgiades kicked 2, Dixon kicked 2, and then they were the only multiple goal kickers.
All right, then we had Tracy 3, a miss, 2, Taberner 1. For the Power on disposals, you had Houston 27, Wines 26, Rosie 26, Sarong 29, Young 27, and Ryan 24.
What a game. 2 different sides. You got the class of Port, and what do Freo do? They just lock sides down. Freo's attitude is absolutely huge. Ivan Soldo, though, had 54 hitouts. Luke Jackson had 21 disposals. What a game. And you saw footage, big goals by Port, by Charlie Dixon and Francis Horn to, get Port Adelaide over the win. Another close, defeat by Freo. They're not losing any friends, though. Pearce and Dixon, and how good's Alex Pearce been? I think Luke Ryan had 8 or 9 intercept marks again. He's just killing it. You saw footage at halftime of what's Port Adelaide? I just went blank on Port's coach.
What's the name? Hinkley?
Yeah, Ken Hinkley.
Ken Hinkley.
Having a good chat.
Hinkley. I
had a good chat with Charlie Dixon saying, it's almost like, I want more effort for you. And Dixon's like, well, let him kick it better to me, because Alex Pearce was all over him, and no one's been able to break Pearce. He kept Mackay goalless.
Yeah.
Big Charlie in the last quarter, 2 goals, massive goals, against one of the best one-on-one defenders at the moment. Good win by Port, because this game against Melbourne, when the wrestle was to be on, Port Adelaide just showed some heart against a real good side. Fremantle didn't lose any friends, but that's 2 games now in a row where they've been in front and they've lost the close one.
So I think Freo are going to be they're going to be the side you don't want to come up against.
Correct.
You said last year that GWS were that side. Leading up to finals, Freo are going to I reckon they're going to make a real play. I reckon they're just, because they haven't been this good.
They need to win. They need to learn how to win these close ones, though. Yeah.
Oh, but what I'm saying, and they will. I
Hopefully.
think, like what you said. Well, Carlton came through with the goods last year. They learnt for the last bloody 4 games how to win.
My problem with Fremantle, the only problem, as to your point against Carlton, they don't kick any goals. It's
their forward line is their power down forward. Got a miss.
Tracy kicked 3.
It's Tracy and Amos, isn't it?
Tracy kicked 3, Amos kicked 2, but they only kicked 9 for the game, and they didn't kick many more last week. I'm not sure, except for North, they haven't kicked over 100.
Yeah, West Coast kicked over 100 for like the first time in 100 years.
Well, that's a different game, isn't it? It's a different game. But my problem is Freo just don't look dangerous in that last quarter.
Freo did score 102 against North.
That's what I just said. I said they hadn't, apart from North, they hadn't. Looking at that, they scored 63 against Carlton, 69 in a win against Adelaide, and 93 against Brisbane. They're just not kicking big bags of goals, and they didn't look dangerous in that last quarter.
But they are they're keeping sides when they lose to such a low score.
100%, and they kept Port Adelaide, who run free reign,
and there's star power.
But just in that last quarter when the game's on, they just didn't look like they could win it, while Port Adelaide looked dangerous.
Yeah.
They're going to strangle sides, and they're going to beat a lot of sides. And you're right, they're going to be very hard to play. Again, they didn't lose any friends, but they would be kicking themselves because they were better than Carlton, and they were in front for the bulk of the day against Port on the weekend.
It's promising for Freo.
Oh, absolutely.
For a lot of the fans out there.
After what we, when we previewed them at the start of the year, I love their brand of football, their heart, they're strong. They can just just get that scoring better.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
Of course.
Then it brings us to, what was Sunday called? It was almost like the graveyard shift. Because it was there were 2 shocking games. However, the last one turned out to be pretty good. We had the Cats, Kangaroos. Absolute GMHBA or whatever you call it, down at the Cattery. 139-64, an absolute walk.
Hawkins was a late withdrawal too before it as well. So it's just like, what are we watching them for?
Cameron 6, Close 4,
how good was Cameron?
Neil 3. You had Ford with 3, Lucky and Drury with 2 for North. Holmes at 25, Stewart 24, Myers 23, Sheasel 38. I don't know how many he walked out of the back line. A lot, I'd have no doubt. Scott 27 and Davis Uniacke 27. What were the stats for North? Did North have more of the ball? Because based on that...
Yeah, they had 30 more touches.
I was going to say they looked like they had more disposals.
But how's the inside kick 50 count? 61-45.
Yeah. And a team like Geelong know how to hit the scoreboard. especially with a player like Jeremy Cameron.
Well, Sheasel's the one, and I'm not bagging him because he's their best player, but 38 touches, again, of not really too much. Cameron just is in that form at the start of the year that he had last year where I know I was one of them. He arguably is the best player in the league. 21, kick 6. No, against North, but he's been doing this his whole career. We didn't learn anything. I guess the only thing that was sort of going in North's favour, it was a round of upsets. But Geelong are undefeated. Undefeated, and once again, a pitiful performance by North Melbourne, and they've used up the rope as their hope. I'm not seeing it at the moment. McKercher got hurt. Easy win that's a good win by Geelong because, like Carlton, I think they come up against Brisbane next week.
So I think Geelong's run has been pretty good.
Well,
and
again,
now it's going to get hard.
I agree because I think they play Brisbane, Carlton, GWS. I think's in there. I mean, we'll get to that, but again, they won like what Carlton didn't do. They won their game, and now they've just set themselves up. They've banked their wins. Can they get through the next month of football? And they have just shown once again, do not write them off. Do you guys not watch football? Because we copped a lot when we did our Geelong preview. How many people, whether it was TikTok, YouTube, saying they're finished, they're old?
But I think I said that I said they'd make the 8 in my gut feel.
This wasn't directed at you. I was talking about the public.
Yeah.
The geniuses out there.
What did you put them as?
Between 5th and 8th, yeah.
Yeah, no, you did that.
Yeah, 5th and 8th.
But a lot of people did. They said they were but they're players, like you said, Myers. You know, one of the best score involvement players.
Myers is interesting because he came in as a creative player. I was actually talking to one of my brothers who's a mad Geelong supporter. He came in as a creative player, started as like, I don't know, it was like they were trying to like take him away from his natural game, more of a goal sneak. Last year he became just this assist king. Now, but you see him, he's got assists, he hits the scoreboard, he just does damage with the ball. But Brun, Mona, Dempsey, Ollie Henry,
Holmes.
De Koning, Holmes, this young brigade.
Bowes.
Danger and this is the thing, Danger and Guthrie aren't even playing. They're not even playing. Like they're in that premiership side, they're there. Stangl. Lot to like again. They're not rebuilding. They're gearing up again for another assault.
I was going to say they're gearing up to win another premiership.
They're gearing up to, and they know how to do it.
They're the team to do it.
They know, and how much does it show having a winning culture? Because they didn't make the finals last year, and with the age demographic, I think they're oldest or second oldest. Can't remember what
they're either them or Collingwood, whichever one.
They're or Collingwood, whichever one it was. They didn't make the 8 last year, and now they're right back up, and they started better than when they won the flag.
Yeah,
they're unbeaten, and then you see North, fucking 4 years of this shit. Well, the hope, and then this, and then that, rubbish.
They absolutely suck.
Absolutely rubbish. Get to the next game. I don't want to talk about North Melbourne anymore.
That brings us over to the Eagles and the Tigers. Go
the Eagles!
Where's the celebration?
Eagles!
Oh, big congrats. An absolute... Well, it wasn't actually an upset. It was the one that I think everyone, based on the round...
Well, when me and you were talking last week, and I tipped the Tigers, I did not have the guts. But I said to you, because no one loses every game.
No.
And West Coast would have been feeling confident after their performance on the weekend against Sydney. Richmond have a lot of outs, as you know. If there was ever a game to get up for...
It was this one.
It was this one, and I think Richmond started the better.
Yeah, we'll go through it. So you had Eagles 109 to the Tigers 70. You had Waterman kick 6. Yao and Petruccelli 2 goals each. Tim Kelly 29, of which I would say majority of them were butchered. He was not hitting anything. He got a lot of meters gained, but he couldn't hit a target. Yao had probably his best game for the season, 27 disposals. And Harley Reid, 27 touches as well. He was on fire. He absolutely demolished and played some incredible football. I mean, seeing him dusty was pretty impressive. You had Lafau with 3, Bolton with 3. Bolton, once again, doing his job for the team and doing all he can. You had Sonzi with 1. Baker had 25, Lawson 24. And as I said, Bolton with 21 disposals. So it was really, really good to see. I think for the West Coast fans, I mean, great to see them get a win first and foremost. But Harley Reid, that guy can keep his feet like no tomorrow. I've never seen a player, his core strength, but just his ability to take the game on, he's going to be, like seriously, he's going to be something in the future. Like, I'll give him a year or two. If he continues like this, give him the time to mature and he'll be a gun.
Well, didn't he do...
He did a dusty to a dusty.
Dusty. I mean, you were speaking about it. The only thing I was interested to watch that game for was for that moment. It was... I don't care if West Coast lost by 100 points. How good would it have been whether Reid did it to him or Dusty did it to him? He did it. I'm a bit... Great for Waterman kicking 6.
Huge.
Massive. That's a career best for him. Apart from Bolton, though, kicked 3. Lafau, the young kid, kicked 3.
Hey, mate, he's a bull, by the way. That guy, talk about, you know how we talk about doing a dusty? Mate, he flipped players off him. He's expert NRL. Mate, big unit.
That's a disappointing loss by Richmond.
Oh, if you're a Richmond supporter.
Such a surprise. It was so good against... I mean, they were all right against Carlton. They out-pressured Sydney.
What happened?
I thought that was really... They were hard. Like, they just didn't... They had so many outs against St Kilda and lost that. So I sort of gave them a pass. I thought their pressure in that first half was huge. Mate, West Coast were just up. That's very disappointing from the Tigers.
I think also
should have won that game.
The fans played a big part. Eagles had a lot of heart in that game.
Yep.
Seeing Reid every time, these guys would get the ball, their stars, they would be up and about. They'd be clapping, they'd be applauding. So I think there was a bit on the line. They wanted to win. They wanted that. They knew it was their opportunity. And Richmond were up, but they just stormed away with it in the end. And it was a good game to see. So exciting for West Coast.
Well
Harley
done,
Reid's going to be an absolute jet. That is the one takeaway.
Yeah.
West Coast, you better hope you hold on to him. I don't know how long his contract is there.
He did kick. I think it's for 2 years. I think he kicked when he kicked a goal against the Swans at the start of the game last year. You saw him. He grabbed the jumper and pushed it through. He showed it heart. He showed some heart. And these little wins, you get to enjoy them. It's going to be few and far between for the Eagles, but they got the win.
100%. I'm going to close this. I'm going to display the ladder. Actually, I was like, have I missed a game? No.
Collingwood and Sydney had the bye.
Yeah, I was looking and I was like, what's going on? Anyway, that's not closing for some unknown reason. I'm going to bring up the AFL ladder. Just give me a second, guys, and I'm going to run through where everyone is sitting. It's an exciting year. Like, after seeing this round, it really threw...
This year's on.
It threw a lot of spanners in the work.
It just makes you question. Some teams aren't as good as you thought. Some teams aren't as bad as you thought. But there's only 2 sides who are unbeaten now, and then there are 2 sides who haven't won a game.
All right, so those sides, you got GWS and Geelong unbeaten, first and second. Port, third. No surprise there. I had them there too, which is good. Sydney, 4th. Melbourne, 5th. Carlton, 6th. Freo, 7th. Gold Coast, 8th. Essendon, 9th. Brisbane, 10th. Western Bulldogs, 11th. 12th, St Kilda. You know what's funny? I said St Kilda would be outside the 8. I did say it.
I think you had them 15th, though.
Suckers. No, but hold up. Collingwood should move above them.
Yeah.
Then you've got Adelaide Crows 14th, Richmond 15th, 16th, West Coast Eagles off the bottom of the ladder. Well done. Hawthorn and North haven't won a game at the very bottom there. So, I mean, we said Richmond would be in the bottom 4. We were pretty big on that. That is, I mean, what an interesting round. What's on for round 6, Johnny? What are we witnessing?
Round 6, it just showed that any game is winnable by a side. The majority. So we start with St Kilda and Bulldogs, who are really at the same pace on Thursday night. Friday. This game just got super interesting Friday night. Adelaide versus Essendon. Adelaide with, they're going to have their backup in Adelaide. Bombers return to form as well. Then Saturday.
I'll say this from a confident level. We always have the edge on Adelaide, and look at the last 5 games against them.
Yeah, but Tex is back in form. So anyway.
Tex kicked 4 goals. It's not back in form. He just did 1.
And he also set up 5.
Whoop-de-doo, Basil. We got Mackay.
So did we. These are great games, Josh. So Saturday afternoon, Collingwood versus Port Adelaide. Collingwood with form at the G, Port Adelaide. Then you've got Saturday afternoon, Carlton Giants, sides that are injury ridden, who are at the top of the table. Saturday night, you've got Brisbane versus Geelong. Brisbane have their balls back at the Gabba. Geelong are unbeaten. Saturday night, West Coast and Fremantle for the Derby.
West Coast.
Sunday, I got that wrong. Sydney versus the Suns. Sydney haven't been going great before the bye either. Good win.
That should be, I would say...
We're going to learn a lot from the Gold Coast Suns in that game.
Yeah.
And then the 2 unbeaten sides
You
at
mean the
Marvel,
2 defeated
North
sides?
and Hawthorn. Yeah, undefeated sides. It's actually a really good game of football.
This is a great round. That is, aside from, I would say, like, the Sydney and... even then, I'd say Eagles and Freo. One would assume that Freo
I guess the only thing you're giving that is because it's a derby. Can West Coast, get up for it? But that is a great round of football.
That is going to be
everyone's tips. This is going to be an interesting week. You should do all right.
Mate, this is why it's a long game, Johnny. It's not just 5 rounds. It's 23 or 24, including an opening round. Guys, John, do you have any final thoughts? Or can we not listen to you and just turn it off?
we got final thoughts. Umpires, stop bouncing the ball. We're done. And everyone's response, tradition. No, the tradition's gone. So the reason they bounced it, when the ball used to, because the centre circle's bigger than when we started watching it. It's got to fall within there, otherwise they say call it back. When the reason for the bounce, and there was a small circle, was it was allowed to be unpredictable. That was the whole point of it. So it didn't matter where it goes. The moment it has to be within a parameter, just get rid of it now, because the game loses so much momentum and none of them fucking bounce properly. If you went back to the old way where it didn't matter where it goes, go for it, go for your life. So don't talk to me about tradition, because that rule's gone. The whole reason of the bounce was it was different. Just throw the fucking thing up.
So I'm going to say another point on top of that. It's like when you're in the back line and they bring you on the mark, when you've gone off the mark, it's like, what are we talking about here? You've just stopped the momentum. You've allowed for the players to get back. So when you get a free kick, oh no, you're off the mark. You can't kick it, bring it back. By the time you've done that, the defense has had time. The other teams had time to set up their zoning, everything, and then all of a sudden you're screwed. You're trying to get out.
We'll just call play on. The only reason,
that's what I'm saying.
The only way where that doesn't apply is if the player's marked it and he's forward of the mark. You do have to come back.
I completely agree with that. But I'm saying like they even make sure you're on like the right line nowadays, which is just ridiculous. Obviously, you're going to be behind the mark and then go and kick, or if you go over the mark, you play on.
Just call play on.
Another thing though. It was really, really horrible to watch, and maybe it was a momentum thing. West Coast and Richmond, I don't know how many times they went to a score review. Just get rid of the umpires. Just get rid of the goal umpire. Like seriously, I don't think.
Or get rid of the footage. Either pick one or the other.
Because this is getting ridiculous. The momentum, like you just said, you stop, you watch. Oh, this angle, we don't think. You're like, dude. How did you not see that it was behind? If you didn't see that it went through, well, then just call it as you saw it, regardless, and then let the umpire take. This is just ridiculous. Sitting there every single game, and I reckon I watched about 10 reviews.
Well, the Bulldogs Essendon game, when News kicked away in that last quarter, the amount of times they would review stupid stuff, it actually killed the momentum after a goal was kicked. What I don't like with this, the goal umpires clearly do not trust themselves.
Yeah.
Why do we go to the goal umpires call then when they can't tell? So Carlton, I'm gonna do the Carlton Adelaide one. We kick a goal It clearly shows on a couple of angles it was inconclusive. There was on the side that it's showing from the goal face, there was clearly a gap. You could clearly tell. How the fuck was that not conclusive? And why are we going for the umpire's calls? Because they don't trust themselves. Why do we trust them? It's an absolute joke. Pick one or the other because this shit ain't working.
I think you're right. It's like if they're going to use this system, don't allow for the umpire's call. As soon as they ask for the review,
just review it.
Then allow the
You guys
review.
make the- you guys make the
executive decision, and then it's not on the umpire.
Because it really costed Carlton there, and they're like, "Oh, we'll use one the other." No. Our one was touched off a ball in play, not fucking when there's 5 cameras showing this goal review that we were legally allowed to, like actually allowed to review. Carlton lost by under a kick.
Yeah. No, trust me. I think it's really
Pull
really
your head
frustrating.
in.
AFL needs to get on top of that and sort something out pretty damn fast.
Yep.
All right, guys. That summarizes the AFL round 5. We're excited for round 6. Like, subscribe, and
Ring the fucking bell.
see you in the next one.